Purple Daily is daily Vikings entertainment. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die.
I will ride with this group.
Seriously, man. Please.
And away we go.
Yes, welcome in to Purple Daily and what would be a Trenches with Boone debut, 2024 debut, but Boone's got some family stuff that he needs to tend to this week. And so, much like during his NFL career, Jeremiah Sirles is being summoned from the bullpen. Hey, you don't know what position? Nope. Just prepare. We got a bunch of guys questionable, but we need you to step up and make a spot start here. So Jeremiah Sirles, former Vikings offensive lineman, 6 years in the National Football League trenches, and has his own platform, the O-Line Committee, YouTube, Apple, Spotify. Jay, what's going on, man? Welcome to Purple Daily.
It's good to be back. I've made a few guest spots here, but you're absolutely right. You got to stay ready. You never know when your moment's going to come. Opportunities come few and far and in between. So, just you don't fall back. You don't rise to the occasion. You fall back on your training. So I'm ready. The body is willing.
Do you just sit there behind your microphone waiting, just working out your vocal cords, waiting to be summoned to podcast?
Just hoping to get a text from Phil. Be like, hey, getting the call up, baby. Going to the big leagues. No more AAA ball for me.
So we got Jay here. So, Jay, you're going to be the primary backup for when Boone also has like 4 kids playing sports. He's training offensive linemen, so he's not going to be able to make 17 starts here.
He may be the most unreliable person when it comes to scheduling that I've ever met. Like, I love the guy that does. He's one of my best friends in the world. But when you try and schedule something, you're like, yeah. And then it's like, got 12U baseball, bud. You're like, okay, sounds good. We'll figure it out.
Sorry. Yep. So we had to teach him what the Outlook calendar was. You click yes, accept. You click no if you can't. And
now I have to send it to Dana.
It's a grid.
Too.
It's great.
He's like, hey, can you send that to Dana too, so she can put it in her calendar? I was like, you want me to send my work invites to Dana? Sure.
Amazing. So, anyways, we're going to get into some film here from the Vikings and the Giants. A shout out to Federated Insurance real quick before we dive in. If you're a business owner out there, you want to make sure you have a great offensive line in place to protect your business so you can stay focused on growing your business. Federated comes in with a focus on safety, preventing claims, and just general frontline protection. So if you are interested in having a conversation with Federated, they go back to 1904. They have a ton of experience helping businesses. Federated Mutual Insurance Company, where it's our business to protect yours, federatedinsurance.com. I've got like 6, 7, maybe 8 plays, mostly good, because the Vikings just beat the brakes off the Giants. But since this is the first time you've been on Purple Daily in a while, just what are your general thoughts? What were your thoughts going into week 1? And then to what extent did the Vikings change or not your thoughts on them after 28-6?
Yeah, going into week 1, there was a lot of question marks in my mind, right? I knew that we had a phenomenal offensive line. That was never a question, at least 4 out of 5. But you look at, for me, the back half of the season last year and Brian Flores' defense that was he was squeezing every drop out of those guys that he could get, and teams started to get a beat on it towards the end of last year. So I looked at that going, okay, what are we going to get from the defensive side of the ball? Because the shiny cars and the toys on the offensive side of the ball, I think will be able to continue to let us go and do the fun things that we want to do with Jefferson and Addison. And when Hawk gets back, and Aaron Jones was, I knew, going to be a difference maker because I watched him do it to me when he was in gold and green, and then I watched him do it for the Packers for years. So the defensive side of the ball was really the concerning side for me. But as I watched that game continue to progress, I was going, we're a better rush team without Danielle Hunter, as weird as that is to say, because of all these pieces that we put together. And so that, for me, was really exciting to look at. And then you look at the identity of this offense. I didn't know if KOC has it in his DNA to run first offense. Like, can he physically bring himself to go, oh, I've called 3 run plays in a row. I can't do 4, right? I can't do it. I got to air this bitch out. But I think he knows that in order for Sam Darnold to have the success that he wants to have, it can't be the Sam Darnold show. And that showed this weekend. And so I left week 1 going, okay, I know the Giants are bad, But the Vikings showed that they can be a frisky and fun team. They can be competitive as long as they continue to play within the system and the scheme that KOC wants to have, which is play great defense, run the football. Don't ask Sam Darnold to throw it 40 times.
Yeah. So I have a nugget on the like pass run ratio here, but yeah, it's the Giants and, big grain of salt. Totally agree with all those things. But the Vikings have played a lot of bad teams over the last 5 years. And the one thing the Vikings have been unable to do that all the other 31 teams did between 2019 and 2024 is blow out a bad team or blow out any team by 3 scores or more. Week 15 of 2019 was the last time the Vikings beat anybody by 17 points or more. And if you look at that stretch of 5 years, so all 31 teams did it at least 3 times. Half the league did it at least 10 times. And then like the upper part of that list, so the Niners, I think the Chiefs are up there, the
Eagles,
Bills,
Ravens.
the Bills 20 plus times have blown out teams by 17 points or more. So I feel like it's a good step to do what you're supposed to do against a bad team, which is go beat them 28-6. And then on the run pass ratio front, what I found fascinating about last year, and we've talked about this with Judd throughout the weeks. So Kirk Cousins goes down week 8. So you have more than half the season to go, and you're trying to figure out, boy, how do we operate this offense? Nick Mullins is in the bag. I guess we'll summon Josh Dobbs from, for like a 6th-round pick, introduce him to some teammates. Jaron Hall we just drafted. You would think that that point going forward, the Vikings would lean on the run and become pass when necessary. Kevin O'Connell was 5 pass attempts away from leading the entire league in pass attempts last year. So you're like, but now that Aaron Jones, huge upgrade over Alexander Madison, Blake Brandel had a pretty darn good first game. PFF loved him anyways, but does he have it in his DNA to just lean on that run game, or do they look to lead the league in pass attempts again, even with Sam Darnold? I'm curious.
I just don't know if he's capable of doing it, right? It's like the old adage, a leper can't change its spots. I don't know if KOC can just go, yeah, let's scheme up a really fun run game, right? Like, let's see what kind of cool gadgets and motions and shifts we can get to run duo and inside zone, right? He's fun. And then all of a sudden there's going to be that voice in the back of his head that's like, throw it deep, crossers routes, dig in routes. And it's just going to creep in more and more and more. Mm. And it almost was like Sam played so well that I'm worried that it's like KOC is going to go to the drawing board this week and be like, Sam can do it. Sam can do it. We can do this next week. 40 pass attempts. Did you see what he did last week? Sam can do it. And that's not going to be it. That's not the recipe for success. So it'll be curious to see, but Aaron Jones, man, what a weapon. What a weapon. He upgrades that running back room to a whole nother echelon of almost elite status. I mean, I wish we had him when he was younger, but he still looks like he's got great burst through the hole, doing all kinds of fun things. I mean, he's a special back to have.
Yeah. On the defensive side, and then we'll pull up some film here. So I agree, dude. I mean, Danielle Hunter, incredible player, one of the best edge rushers in Vikings history. Like, especially before the injury, he was I think he was the quickest player ever in NFL history to get to 50 sacks, age-wise or something. So they lose him, and a lot of the national pundits, I feel like they sort of stop at Vikings lost Danielle Hunter, didn't get a player back that was equally as good as Danielle, therefore defense is terrible. But that room, so last year, because Davenport was never healthy, so you had one reliable edge rusher in that room in Danielle Hunter last year. I like the room better this year than like Grenard. The fact that Dallas Turner is your third guy and Patrick Jones and Jihad Ward coming in on must-pass situations. Like, Jihad Ward is 250 pounds lining up in the A-gap on some of these third downs. Stephon Gilmore coming in. They run like 16 or 17 players deep in that defensive rotation, even though they might not have, other than Harrison Smith, Gilmore might be a Hall of Famer at some point. It's a lot of anonymous Van Ginkel type guys, but I like the defense better than last year. I don't know about you.
Yeah, because last year you had to rely on the blitz. That was because if I'm playing offensive line against the Vikings last year, all I'm doing is I'm going up to the line of scrimmage and I'm looking around going, where is he? There's 99. All right, slide that way. Make someone else beat us. And time again, DJ Wanham kind of at times looked like he had it, and then there's other times he disappeared. But this year, they're going to have to make offensive lines and quarterbacks decide, hey, where are we sliding to? Where are we going? Who are we giving help to? And then we have enough talent spread out throughout that defensive line to be able to make the one-on-one matchups away from the slide, get to the quarterback, and have the ability to get the quarterback on the ground. That allows Brian Flores to dig deep into his bag of tricks and pick his spots on when do I want to go? When do I want to send 5? When do I want to send 6? Not out of necessity, but out of because this is our decision and we have them behind the sticks and we want to really get after them.
Yeah. I feel like the old defensive coordinator, Ed Donatel, is singularly to blame for everybody being on the hot seat with the Giants right now, because Daniel Jones had those 2 crazy games against the Vikings, including the playoff win, torched Ed Donatel's defense, tricked the Giants into like, we have to $40 million a year. And I mean, we were joking about this on O-line committee, but Brian Flores' defense, 90 seconds into the first game of the season, had 70,000 Giants fans booing that team off the field.
Not good. And they got Harrison Phillips paid.
Yeah.
The Giants got Harrison Phillips paid. They're just out there paying everyone.
Old Harry. Yep. Nice job.
Horrible Harry.
Nice job increasing the digits in that bank account. So, all right, we're going to dive into some film here. I do want to say hello to Nicolay Law here, the exclusive personal injury law firm of Purple Daily. Nicolay Law knows that when you or a loved one gets hurt, ordinary life can come to a stop, and that's where you might need some help. And Russell Nicolay, Fear the Flannel, he's walking around in a suit and a tie in the YouTube video right now, but he's more of a flannel and jeans guy. Very relatable. He's a lawyer, and so are the people on his staff, but they're very relatable lawyers who are here to help you get the compensation you deserve after an accident. So if you've been injured, get Minnesota's local award-winning injury lawyers. Get Nicolay. That's nicolaylaw.com, nicolaylaw.com. And, you know, sometimes the Vikings make you want to punch a hole in your drywall, and that's where KS Drywall comes in, providing full drywall plaster repair, popcorn ceiling texture removal, interior painting services. They're huge fans of the Purple and of the show here, Purple Daily. And if you live in the Twin Cities Metro or Western Wisconsin, maybe they'll even fly out to Nebraska and help Jeremiah if he gets mad after like a Huskers close loss. ksdrywall.com to schedule your free estimate. No project is too small or too big. They will handle anything. And if you have one of those older homes like, 1950s, 1970s, and you got that popcorn ceiling texture, if you plan to sell your home someday, you want to get that removed to increase the aesthetic and value of your home. ksdrywall.com to schedule a free estimate. So, okay. We've paid some bills.
Pay them. Got to grease the palms.
Let me see if I can, with my janky backup setup here, let me see if I can get this on the screen.
Can I find you on this show,
here we
too?
go. Yeah, you can find me.
I can get the bell. Find him. Thank you.
Okay. Can you see this? Can you see
Absolutely.
the football players on the screen? Okay.
We are ready. There's
So
22 individuals on the screen.
Okay, that's good. And a couple of referees potentially going to insert themselves.
Yep.
And by the way, if you want more film breakdowns of National Football League key plays and games, Jeremiah and Alex Boone, and then I play a role as well as an 8th grade football player back in the day. But the O-Line Committee YouTube channel, Apple, Spotify, if you want more from Jay here. But I'm going to start with some bad. So this is Ed Ingram against Dexter Lawrence early. We're going to start with some bad just to balance this out, and then we'll get to the good stuff. Okay?
Yeah. First of all, Dexter Lawrence picked up right where he left off last year, being borderline, if you single block him, unblockable. He is extremely talented, and also these uniforms are just terrible for the Giants.
It looks like they're not wearing pants.
It just looks like they're naked from the waist down, right? Yeah. So, oh my goodness, Dexter Lawrence goes right around Ed here. I mean, this is, first of all, as a guard, setting down on a nose or a 2-eye when your center is moving away is a very difficult thing to do because all your momentum's coming inside, and if he wants to work himself back out, if you don't have a very strong outside hand right away, you're immediately behind the 8 ball, right? So right here, Ed's trying to set down to him. He takes his hand inside. He needs to throw that left hand immediately. He's a little late with the left hand, but the worst thing he does here is he has too much weight onto his left side. And so when Dexter comes back around here, you see that right foot never gets back into the ground. And so right away, Dexter's pushing on what we call a soft shoulder, right? Soft shoulder. And then you have Dexter Lawrence's hand is inside his hand on this side here. So he gets to the long arm. And Ed's trying to fight him off here. But this is a very large, very powerful man. And he's going to go through you if you don't hit him with your hands. And so, I mean, Dexter, it's one of those things where you really don't want to single block him. You want to be able to get him. But credit to the Giants here. You've got Burns out here standing up, so you have to slide away. And this is the addition of what Burns did to bring over to, I mean, Thibodeau and Burns bring it over, is you're going to get more of the one-on-one matchups with Dexter, right? So you have Burns standing up here, you have Thibodeau on the other side. They're trying to single up Dexter Lawrence on one of these guys in the middle because it's really hard to sit down on him. But Ed's got to be better than this. You know, he's one of those guys that I think is on a 3-week audition tape here. Because Dalton Reisner's in the realm sitting, I can go better than that, right? So we're going to see more of Ed Ingram here because Blake Brandel played his balls off. So Ed Ingram's going to have a better couple weeks here, else Dalton Reisner's coming in.
And Ed was one of the only, I think he was the only veteran offensive lineman, like of the starters, that was playing in the last preseason game too.
Yep.
He's playing a bunch of snaps. It's never a great sign for your job security.
Not a good thing for job security.
So this is the chunk play to Josh Oliver inside the 5-yard line.
Dude, this just gets me fired up when Hawk's back. Anytime Josh Oliver catches a pass, I'm like, ooh, that could be a touchdown with Hawkinson, right? He's just that much better. Yeah. But, I mean, this is a nice job here. We got to give flowers where flowers is due. You know, look at Ed on this play, right? So he bounces back. He comes through here. He's sitting up again. It's not for Lawrence, which is very helpful. He comes through here, hits him with his hands, and he sits down. This is a really good rep. Darisaw in this game was lights out. He didn't let Brian Burns. He didn't let Kayvon Thibodeau. I mean, very rarely in a pass protection rep do you watch the D lineman get further away from the quarterback, right? Usually they're pushing you in right here. I mean, right there, right here, he goes, okay, you want to go out there? I'll just push you further out onto the hash so that you can't even get even close to the quarterback. I mean, they paid a lot of money to these edge rushers, and Christian Darisaw and Brian O'Neill locked these dudes down all game. It was phenomenal to see. With tackle play like that, you're going to give your quarterback a chance.
Orlovsky did a quarterback-related receiver route breakdown of this play too, and I'm not going to be able to repeat everything he said, but the play design, having Justin Jefferson in the slot, I don't know if you notice anything here, but the way that it's basically 4 verts, but Jefferson draws more attention than most slot receivers in this situation. It opens up a huge lane. Look at this, safety rolling over the top. So this guy has to kind of play underneath.
The bigger thing is if you watch the middle linebacker. So go back to the wide here, right before the snap. So you see the middle linebacker, right, standing right over there over the center. He has to make a decision when I drop back into this deep zone. Where do I want to bring my eyes, right? Josh Oliver's over here on the right. He's not worried about him looking. He immediately is looking where's 18, right? He's got complete eyes turned to the sideline where 18 is. And that's really, for me, what opens up this hole, right? He should just be getting back probably more square, trying to decide who's going to be the bigger threat. But you're right, 18's over there. He commands a lot of attention. This dude has his back turned to Oliver the entire time. He never even sees him. And so he jumps around, and then that's just a really good timing throw by Sam Darnold. Right? If that ball is late, he may allow him to get his hips flipped around and come back over and pick this ball up, or the safety breaks on it. But this is just a great timing throw of Sam Darnold identifying where he wants to go with the one-on-one matchup and then just putting a dart on him.
Well, one more shot from this angle, too. Josh Oliver, underrated pass-catching tight end. I know that's not been he's one of the best run-blocking tight ends, but in college he could catch some passes.
Yeah.
Big athletic guy.
In timing, in rhythm.
Okay, this Jeremiah is what's called a touchdown by a running back. I'm not sure if you're familiar watching Vikings football.
Well, I mean, I'm familiar watching 33 score touchdowns. That's for sure. I mean, he's scored a lot of them, but this is just a veteran running back understanding where the unblocked player is and trusting himself and his speed to beat them to the corner. Right? This play is not designed to go out to the edge. And so many times we see running backs try and bounce this too quickly and they get caught by the unblocked player, right? But for what Aaron Jones does here, he sets up the block extremely well. First of all, Darnold gets him into the play. He kills it. He sees the box that he likes. He wants to get to the run. They run a Z find in here where they bring Jordan Addison in to block the safety because it's man coverage. So you've run in a duo play here, right? So duo is you have this right guard and the center are blocking up to 53, and then you have the left guard and the left tackle are double teaming up to 59. Tight end's locked in on Burns here, and then they brought Addison in so that he can block the safety, right? And then Powell out here is going to block the corner, leaving only 27 to be the unblocked player. So what Jones has to make a decision here is, do I pound this up the middle and just get what I can, or can I set it up where I get 27 to stick his nose in here and bite, and then I can beat him to the pylon? So as soon as he feels 27, get his nose up in here and bite, he knows he's the unblocked player. That's when he decides I can turn on the jets, put on the burst, and get to the corner.
Even with 44 lurking right there.
Pulls, I mean, he's assuming that 4 is going to get him blocked, right? So like right here, he thinks he's blocked because he knows he's just running off 7 or off 27. And then right here, this is just great individual effort, great burst, and just beat him to the pylon. Because if you run out there, you're on your own. You're on your own.
Yeah.
Powell needs to hold on to that block.
Powell kind of whiffs this a little bit, and he's not he's not a big guy.
He gets him off his spot, though. You know, all you can really ask for a receiver at times is just don't get blown backwards.
Right.
At least he goes forward and gets him off his spot and allows Aaron Jones to have the opportunity to make this, because there's really nothing going in the middle here. You know, he could put his foot in the ground and try and squeeze through this between Darisaw and Brandel right there, you know, but talk about Addison getting blown backwards. Not what you really want right there. He's going to be laying in the hole.
Yeah.
You know, and so he feels that pressure in there, and that's what allows him to go back outside, and then it's just one-on-one with the safety.
He probably does score, even if he might get tripped up by Addison's helmet or something.
Yeah, he might trip over Addison into the end zone, but
but this is the type of play, and you know, we could go through each individual one last year with Madison. I think it was Warren Sharp or somebody put out a stat that Madison had like 9 carries inside the 5-yard line for -7 yards and no touchdowns last year. And of course, someone put the film out and like, you know, you could pick nits with the offensive line, this, that. But at the end of the day, not everything's going to be perfectly blocked. And from this range, sometimes you just have to find a way to slither into the end zone or bounce it out. And Aaron Jones has a track record of being able to pick up a couple extra. Aaron Jones, even last year with the Packers, was like 5th in the league in yards after contact per carry. So it should be a huge upgrade, and this play seemed to be a pretty nice illustration.
Absolutely. It shows burst, it shows speed. Do I think the guy wins in a 100-yard dash? Probably not, but he still definitely has that 3-4 step burst to be able to pull himself away from people.
Yeah. All right, this is the big hitter here.
Double covered, always open.
And Jefferson.
Double covered, always open. Go back to the protection and
beautiful, man.
Blake Brandel, man, right here, he's setting it in. They're anchoring down on Dexter Lawrence, puts it through, and then just a great timing throw. And all of these plays that we've seen from Darnold so far, he hasn't had anyone really in his feet besides the sack, right? And a lot of it is because he's timing. It's timing and rhythm, right? Catches it, takes his drop, back foot hits, one hitch, see ya. Right? Ball's gone. Look at that pocket. That's the cradle of love. That's just a beautiful, pocket, beautiful cradle of love in there, man. Like you could rock the baby, do your things. Look at Darisaw. I mean, look at O'Neal. Even Ed Ingram there is.
I mean, Chandler's in there looking for work. You know,
yeah. And this is going to be the decision in which when you're playing the Vikings again. If Sam Darnold can continue to have the success, do we blitz him? Do we try and make him uncomfortable? Because he showed in this game he has the arm talent to make these big-time throws. Right? That's not an easy throw by any means. To hit a guy in between the safety and the corner, in between the numbers in the sideline, I mean, that's a big-time throw in rhythm. Oh, Aaron Jones, talk dirty to him.
Look at this, dude. It's a little hard to see here with the red logo in the field, but
that's all right. Again, you spread them out. You get them in 11 personnel, so we only have one tight end in the game here. And you have a pretty heavy box here as well, but you're going to leave a guy unblocked, but you just continue to roll with it here. And then this is just great vision and great balance by Aaron Jones as he pushes it front side. So they're running a backside duo again. This is duo on the backside with a cross motion with CJ Ham coming across to kick out. So they're pushing it here. They come through great double teams. You know, when you talk about a double teams, if you can read the back of all 4 of your interior offensive linemen because they are square and they are hip to hip and they are getting movement, you give your running back a two-way go. He has the ability now to punch it front side, or if everything caves down and collapses in there, he can escape out the back door. So when you're able to do this, and this is great coaching by Coach Cooper, having everyone on the same footwork, Bradbury, Ingram running their feet, Brandel, Darisaw, and then that backside linebacker gets a little nosy in there, and Aaron Jones puts one foot in the ground and goes. But if you have running backs that aren't going to get touched until they go through the line of scrimmage, Aaron Jones is as good as there are in the league. I mean, we did a breakdown on online committee about Saquon Barkley, and he was running through holes like this. This is a very good job by this Vikings offensive line. And Josh Oliver, right, talk about the flowers. He gets up on the linebacker, does a great job of caving him down as well.
So real quick here, I think this is the linebacker you said that was getting kind of nosy.
Yep.
So is he thrown off by the CJ Ham motion and the tight end over here? He thinks the run is going to the strong side of the field.
He probably thinks the
and
run's
that's why
going
he's cheating.
strong side. Yeah, and anytime you have a cross motion, or split motion here, linebackers are going to rock back because a new gap is created. So anytime you bring a guy from one side of the field to the other side of the field, a new gap then becomes created, and every defensive coordinator has got to be gap integrity, gap sound. So with that cross motion coming across, those linebackers will have to rock back, and as they rock back, it can leave you vulnerable on the backside.
I'm going to give you the football sounder for that. There's a lot of good football jargon right there.
Football.
All right, a lot of CJ Ham. And,
love it.
speaking of
CJ Hammer time.
CJ Ham laying the wood,
CJ
making up for
Hammer
that
time.
fumble.
And then Aaron Jones with a physical finish. I mean, this is a lead switch play. So many times you're used when you run weak lead, usually the half or the fullback will lead up on the front side, right? So we're used to seeing, hey, if we're going to run weak lead here, then 30 would go on the front side, linebacker here on the right. But this is what we call lead switch. So lead switch, we're going to fan it to the front side. We're going to push it all the way across with our double team to the front side, and then we're going to slip the backside out and have the fullback end up on the backside linebacker. So everything is meant to cut back on this play. You're really trying to cut the defense. The unsung hero of this play is Blake Brandel. Watch Blake Brandel, the way that he's able to skinny up through this, knowing that the ball's going to hit backside, right? Everyone else is pushing front side. Bradbury, Ingram, O'Neal, they're all trying to push it front side. But Brandel knows, hey, this play design is meant to bend back towards the left. So he steps to the right, and then he stops and gets himself up on this linebacker. Right? That's a really hard thing to do. It's a very heads-up and awareness play for him to understand where it's going, understanding the concept, and get up there. So Hammer Time seals it, Brandel seals it, and then you're one-on-one with a corner. Aaron Jones just says, no, thank you, I'll run through, and then the hard, heavy finish here on the safety.
Oh, dude. That's a
statement run. Right? That's a statement run with your fullback and a statement run with your running back.
Oh, talk dirty.
Love it.
All right, little play action here.
Dart.
Jalen Naylor.
Absolute dart. So you run the ball like that, these linebackers are going to start to get caught with their eyes in the backfield. These corners are going to get caught with their eyes in the backfield. You know, even with just a little bit of motion here, watch 53 take the cheese. Go all the way back. 53 standing out here over, I believe that's that Johnny Munt, 86.
Is this 53 or here?
Yep. Watch him. He's got his eyes drilled in this backfield. This little play action to Chandler here. He takes the cheese immediately. Whoop. Oh, got to get downhill.
I got you.
Right? Oh. And he comes through here, and they end up picking him up. Now, we have a free runner here, number 67. You can't do this. You can't do this. But Sam Darnold, guy in his face, up and over that corner. Go to the wide copy too, just real quick. Let's watch the corner, right? So the corner now has been ran over. He's been juked.
Is it this dude right here you're talking about?
Yep. I believe it's him. Whoever, it might be him or the guy on the outside, right? But it's the guy on the outside, right? So right here, it's just playing. He gets caught with his eyes in the backfield, and this guy just runs by him, right? He's so used to having to come up with run support because they've had such success of running the football that if you get caught with your eyes in the backfield here for even half a second, flat-footed, and you play that inside leverage and you run this, it's the slot fade coming underneath. He gets caught here. He thinks it's a screen, right? Look at Jefferson out here.
Yeah, Jefferson just
right. Watch Jefferson. He actually raises his hands like it's a screen, right? So Jefferson, when he comes out, raises his hand like, oh, I'm going to get the ball. He pulls the trigger to go up and tackle him, and then he screams by him. right? So both those guys thinks Jefferson's getting the ball, and then he puts his foot in the ground and climbs on him and runs away from him. It's a very, very good play design by Kevin O'Connell.
KOC was kind of in his bag in this game.
He was.
Kind of in his
really
bag.
Was. He took his chances when to take shots down the field. He called run plays, right? Those are all really good things. But Ed Ingram, this can't happen, man. This can't happen. I mean, you almost wipe a touchdown off the board because you get beat so badly. You got to be better, man. You're going into a big year here. He doesn't throw his hands. He allows him.
Man.
Like, that's just – you're soft setting. You're soft setting. You have to on these longer. This is a pump, right? It's played in the call play. You're going to pump fake it to the screen here. That's just really poor technique as far as not keeping your hands underneath your hips underneath you and getting extension. This is the kind of stuff that gets you benched. I mean, he's sitting here. He doesn't throw his hands. He's on his toes, and this is just a Olay block done by the defensive tackle here.
So defensive tackle is, I have a dumb question. He puts hands on Ed Ingram before Ed Ingram puts hands on him, it looks like.
Correct.
And is he just grabbing jersey and shoulder pads and ripping Ed down right there?
This is your chest is your danger zone. You have to protect your chest. And that's why we're also trying as O-linemen to get into the defensive lineman's chest. If we can control the chest, we can control the rep. When he gets into Ed's chest here and you have your hands out wide, he's going to be able to yank and pull you and go wherever you want. So Ed's hands are way too wide here. It allows him to get into him. Immediately he reads pass, and he just uses all of Ed's momentum against him and pulls him down and pulls himself through.
This is not a good position to be in.
Not where you want to be in order to have successful winning football. That's for sure.
But Sam Darnold, who notoriously struggles against pressure, and was, by the way, is for as good as the Vikings offensive line was at large, except for Ed Ingram, Darnold was pressured on like 40% of his dropbacks and still played well when pressured.
Yep.
So if he can overcome some pressure, even better. This is the Van Ginkel pick six.
Oh, Daniel Jones, you can't do this, man.
Let's peek this.
First of all, it's a really nice job. Daniel thinks that they're bringing the inside guys. That's what happens. I've watched this play like 4 times now. All right, so if you look at it from a schematic perspective, with both those guys walked up in the A gap, right?
Yeah.
Both those guys are walked up in the A gap, and he sees 3 over 4 out here, right? So he peeks outside and he sees Martellus.
Can I give you my dumb theory?
Yes.
And you tell me
What's
if
your
I'm
theory?
right or not.
See if you've learned anything.
You started going down again. Maybe I'm wrong on this, but Daniel Jones sees trips plus a 4th receiver. So he's got 4 receivers to his right. And it's hard to see down here, but you got 7 Byron Murphy, you got Metellus, you got 3, so 4 over 3, which is what you were saying. Mm-hmm. And you got double barrel, double Cali, whatever you want to call it, double A gap loaded up here. So if I'm Daniel Jones, and again, I'm not an NFL quarterback, but he barely is too. So if I'm Daniel Jones, I'm doing the math here and I'm thinking, first of all, this is great. We have an advantage. But second of all, like, the Vikings aren't going to leave that 4 over 3, right? And Harrison Smith is way over here on the other side of the hash mark. So the only logical conclusion, if you're Daniel Jones, is Van Ginkel's bailing into coverage, right?
I would think that.
Ivan Pace comes around instead, bails into coverage over here.
I also think this is an ME by the right tackle. So
am I way off or no?
I don't think you're way off. I think that he thinks someone is going to peel, right? I think he believes that either Van Ginkel or Ivan's going to peel. But if this is the play call, this right tackle has to go get this guy. Like, okay. You can't just if the play call is a wide receiver screen, you have to get this guy's hands down. You either have to go cut him, you have to go drive block him, you have to do something, regardless if you think he's going to drop or not. Because even if he drops, he's still the tackle's guy, right? Because it's a screen.
So he's got to go out there and prevent him from just getting a free jump.
Yeah, unless this was some check that Daniel didn't tell the O-line and the O-line still thinks it's just a pass protection rep, I think it's an ME by the right tackle. But again, I don't know. I'm not in there. But this is just a very heady play by Van Ginkel to have a feeling and stay wide because he's not even really pass rushing. Like, he's kind of just floating up the field. I don't see any real I mean, maybe they saw this on tape and this was a check, because the way that everyone's celebrating makes me feel like this was a check, right? That they felt like, hey, when they line up like this, we know what they're going to run, because watch the way that Ivan Pace is running out of here. He's running immediately to the screen. He doesn't even look back for anything. The second he bails out of this double mug look, he is running immediately over to the screen.
The all-star of this really celebration is over here. Immediate, like, watch this. Arms up, 6-yard line.
Yep. You knew it.
Yes, touchdown.
I think that this was a Brian Flores special, that, hey, they line up in this, we're going to get checked to this, and it's going to work out for us in a very big way. Also,
Van Ginkel did this in training camp like 3 weeks ago too, against
he's
the
such
Vikings
a heady player.
first team.
He's very aware. He understands. I mean, go back all the way. Watch him look over
To the wide or
to the wide. No, here, just back to like right before the play starts. Go back one more. See his horns. Right, he looks over there and he sees it. Like, that's an aware player. That's him being aware of what's happening. He sees that set and he's going, okay, I think I know what might be happening here. Right? It's why he stays so up the field. It's why he widens out half a step. And then he goes straight up the hash, knowing that, hey, if I get close to a Luminor here, he's probably going to jump me. And he just goes up and just reads Daniel's eyes the entire way. Great
another dumb question, obviously. So he knows this is like some sort of bubble screen or something. So rather than attacking off the edge, like if it was a normal pass play, he keeps the distance to avoid, because if this offensive lineman, right tackle guy,
jumps him,
gets into him, he's not going to be able to jump, right? Because he's going to be engaged. So keep your distance and stay on that hash, man.
Yeah. Keep your distance, stay on the hash, read Daniel's eyes. I mean, there's nowhere else for him to go with the football. And the way that he turns like that and runs, that's brutal. That's just a tough play for Daniel Jones. I mean, you can't do that. You have to, see him in the passing lane and just throw it in the dirt. Right, just skip it to him, incomplete pass, live to fight another day.
One more look at it, just because it's football porn and it's amazing, and then we'll send you on your way. Look at that, dude.
So pretty.
Oh, talk dirty.
If the defense can play like that, and again, I know it's the Giants, and the Giants and the Panthers are going to be fighting for the number 1 overall pick next year. We all know this. But if they can continue to put together games like they did against the Giants and rely on the run, rely on getting pass rush with just their front, and not having to blitz a ton, this team could put themselves in contention to win 9 games, 8 games, somewhere in that realm. We just haven't seen Sam Darnold in a critical situation yet. Can he do it when the nuts are on the line and there's 2 minutes left and we need a field goal or we need a touchdown, 1 timeout, all the tables are on everything's on the table. Can he be that X factor or not?
The next few weeks are super interesting because you get, I know San Francisco on paper, they're like a 6-point favorite, but it's a short week for San Francisco. No Christian McCaffrey. I don't think the Niners have won in Minnesota in like 30 years. So there's some, and plus the Niners have the Rams on the other side of that game. So it's kind of a classic Niners trap game early on paper.
Second week trap game, Mackey.
Yeah, I'm just saying. And then Texans at home, that's tough, but you get Packers maybe against Malik Willis in week 4. And then 40-year-old Aaron Rodgers in London. So, man, if you can go like 3-2 and get to the bye week and get Hawkinson back, maybe there is a path to 9 wins as you start to stack these things up. So
they gotta find a way to win. Then, like you said, 3-2's got to be the goal. And this week's gonna be tough. That Niners team looked very complete, top to bottom, regardless if CMC was out there or not. They have enough weapons. And Trent Williams decided to hold out, come back to practice on Tuesday, and still be the most dominant left tackle in the NFL. I don't know how he does it.
At one point, he had to like leave the field to stretch for a minute, and then
like,
he came
hey,
back.
You need an IV? Oh, that's right. You haven't played football since last February. That makes sense.
Yeah, just got to get my wind back, and then I'll be fine for week 2 and week 3. But, dude, Jeremiah Sirles from the O-Line Committee YouTube channel, Apple and Spotify, breaking it down here. Trenches with Boone, with Sirles filling in for Boone, week 1 here. Thank you, dude. Awesome stuff.
Absolutely. Appreciate you having me. We'll do it again sometime.
All right. Daily Vikings Entertainment. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die.
Skull.